Hi, I'm DB.
Hey, I'm Steve.
This is DB and Steve Sports Thoughts. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of free running and stuff that has come from free running. But free running is kind of unique because free running started as a army tactic before it actually went to kind of a mainstream kind of thing. Because over 200 years ago, it was in the French army that they taught them just to run in straight lines, which was parkour. It was not quite pronounced the exact same way as our parkour and everything else because it was French. But in the same general manner, where the fastest way from one point to another point is a straight line. Yep, it doesn't matter what the obstacle is, your fastest way to one point has always been in a straight line. Any kind of deviation from that straight line kind of ruins the purpose.
Well, I noticed that a lot of the topics that we talk about start with training for war, battle between tribes and groups, sides, and it's no different, it sounds like.
It's no different but what most competitions are. That's what the Olympics were and everything else and all that stuff. It's to set out a part of who's the best. And that's kind of how you do it. You kind of compete against each other to become better at it. Because you can't just say, oh, that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. And that's what's going to happen.
But what made this so popular? What made free running, parkour, whatever you want to call it, so popular versus, I understand there's options.
It was a way of expressing somebody's self in the form of running.
So it's an art form.
It's an art form. It's become to that's where it is what it is now. It's still crazy stuff. Because you have the parkour Seattle. It was one season, 8 episodes long. They actually took the top 16 guys in free running and actually pinned them all up against each other with teams of 4.
What makes you the best at free running? They chose the top 16. What qualifications did it have? Is there
There's probably a course that they wind up doing, or the fastest people through those kinds of things, and it's probably voted on their peers as who's the best, who's going to represent our area. Because some of those guys, they're all on teams. They were working with each other for years before they actually did the show Parkour Seattle. Before they did that, because the Miami people, you figure one of the guys from Miami, Flip Rodriguez, wound up being on American Ninja Warrior. There was another one. What the hell was his name? Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
We got I've always wondered for free runners, because pretty much anybody could be a free runner. I know there's certain groups of people that tend to be better at free runners, obviously skateboarders, rollerbladers, because they're in that environment a lot more often. So, they're trying new things, trying tricks not only on their boards, blades, but also, on their feet, trying new things, and start getting confident, and trying more daredevilish stunts, per se. But what makes, I know for me personally, it takes a lot for me to want to jump off a ledge or building or over anything.
But you have to figure that stuff came afterwards of you practicing or you trying to do, because it's still free running. And free running, you are running, so you're 9 times out of 10 going to be on flat ground without maybe it's a small gap, and it's a 6-foot hole underneath that gap, but you're only jumping 4 feet. And granted, if you're just walking, that 4 feet's going to seem forever, but when you're running, your distance becomes further. especially when you're running and you're pushing off and you know you're gonna like try to clear that area, and then it's into a tumble, and then you're running through that. So it becomes that way of just expressing oneself, because you can't say my way is better than your way in free running. It's the same thing in parkour. How you run a course is different than how I would run a course, because
being able to land a certain way. It doesn't have to be the same way. I mean, I've seen parkour free runners that will do literally somersaults, or they'll just kind of roll, or just bend their knees and land on their feet like a gymnast.
Oh yeah.
It depends on the height and everything. But being able to tumble, roll, get back up, and keep going, barely impressed. I mean, that's something.
Brian Orozco. He had a crazy ass mustache. That was the guy's name. But so was Levi Menlenberg. He was on American Ninja Warrior. He was on one of the original ones. Like, a lot of these guys who did this stuff, they wound up going to American Ninja Warrior because, again, this was only 1 year. This was 2011 when they did Parkour City. And then American Ninja Warrior, I think, came out in 2012. 2011, but I think Parkour City came out right before it did.
Okay. So you were mentioning American Ninja Warrior. You're talking about Sasuke, right?
That's different. That's Ninja Warrior. Sasuke is actually considered the original. For American Ninja Warrior came from Sasuke, which is Ninja Warrior, which is from Japan and everything else. So that's been going on way longer than American Ninja Warrior has. The last time I saw it, I think it was 98 or 93 that it started originally for Sasuke.
Now, American Ninja Warriors was, again, never supposed to be as popular as it became. In fact, NBC, when they first aired it in 2011, it was free. It was meant more for free marketing.
Oh, it was meant for free marketing, but they also just want... It was in a different time. People want to try something else. You get that 15 minutes of fame. What else can we throw at the American masses? What will people watch? And it just started a whole health craze that's been going on with that Play for 60 for all the kids and everything else. That's what helped ginormously help boost American Ninja Warrior, because all these guys were about every day go out there and play, because this is what it is. I'm on my big ass playground. You want to come and play on my playground, you got to be healthy, you got to start doing this stuff, and that's what they wound up starting to do.
And it was smart. NBC's part, because they started seeing similar aspects in Fear Factor or The World's Greatest Chase.
Oh yeah.
Shows that show portions of what American Ninja Warrior put into their entire show.
Oh yeah.
People just love to watch.
They love watching people fall.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, what was it? Whitewash or
Oh, you're talking about Wipeout.
Yeah, Wipeout, thank you.
Yeah.
Wipeout, same thing.
Oh yeah.
We failed, but they also love to see people succeed, especially because of the difficulty.
Oh yeah.
A number of people actually got through the courses.
Oh yeah, that's the way it is. But the whole thing with American Ninja Warrior, you get one shot at it. It's not like you fall and you get to be like, can I do that again? Can I try that again? That's all you get. And they're like, you can try again next year. And that's what those people do. They want to come back. They want to win.
Oh, there's people that come back, try every season.
Oh God, there are people that came back for years on years on years. Figure Drew Dressel, he's been going to American Ninja Warrior for the last, God, I'd have to say, I think he came in season 1 or season 2, and he stayed with them for a long time. There's some of them they call the Godfather who's been there since day one. and he's never won it, but he's gone every year, and he makes it into the final fours, but he never makes it past stage 3.
Imagine being that athletic that over a 10-year or 11-year span, you can consistently be the top in the world at what you do.
Oh yeah, well that's any sport to dominate like some of them do, but you figure it's not even really considered domination. All right, there's been 3 winners, 2 in 1 year, and then 1 after that. It is not the easiest course. It is not meant to be beaten.
Break this down a little bit. Let's break this down a little bit. Let's kind of go back. What do you explain? American Ninja Warrior. We know what we see on TV, the Las Vegas 4 stage, which we'll get into. But how do you even get there?
You go to tryouts.
You have tryouts that, it's all over the country. And then the best people in those tryouts have to travel, will have to beat times, have to get through this qualification, and then even once they win that, they still have to go through additional qualifying rounds to ensure that,
there's so many things that you have to get through just to even get to the final stages of American Ninja Warrior. You've got those 2 first rounds. Those are always the kicker, because they only take 30 after the first round, and then they take the top 15 after that. So the best
American Ninja Warrior in your state.
Yeah.
And a lot.
Because there's a lot of people who go out and try out, and they figure there's some people who will try out in one area, and if they don't make it as a walk-on, they'll go to another area and try to walk on at a different area, at a different venue. And that takes a lot of dedication, because you're traveling. You're not staying in one place for very long. You're there to camp out to try to get on American Ninja Warrior or try to pass the course. And if you fail, you're getting on into your car and going down the road to the next one and trying to pass that one.
Camp out for up to 2 weeks just to try to get into the qualifying round.
Oh yeah.
Final stages.
Oh yeah, they just want to get on. They just want to get on that stage. They want to beat it. They want to be able to go up that warp wall and say they beat that warp wall. That's like the biggest kicker. Everybody wants that wall. It's not easy. It is not easy.
So it's a lot easier than it actually is.
Oh God, yes. It looks. Oh, I can do that. No, you can't.
Well, that shows the ferocity of a lot of these competitors and what they're capable of doing with their bodies. Just the numbers itself. You gotta imagine 70,000 people.
Oh yeah.
In one region.
Oh yeah.
Onto the show.
Yeah.
1,000.
And they're only putting like 150, I think, in each region actually get to try out, or something like that. It's not many.
It's that small number.
It's that small number. You have to be elite.
Then you got to imagine that if you do get to Vegas, so if you get to the qualifying rounds, you go to Vegas. And in Vegas, that's where you see live television events.
Oh yeah.
The first stage is obviously the one that most people see.
It's got the most wipeouts in it. It clears out. It definitely clears out the weak from the strong. That the jumping spider is probably the spider. The jumping spider is probably one of the hardest ones. It's probably one of the most fallen on obstacles in the first round. Jumping spider is when you actually jump off the you jump off a trampoline into a narrow hallway but no floor, and you have to spider walk across that. So you're using your hands and your feet.
No walls.
Yeah.
And you're pushing them out and trying to throw yourself up.
Not up the wall, through the wall. You actually have to go down the hallway.
Oh, so it's straightforward.
Straightforward, not going up. At points, you have to go up because they actually put wooden dowels up where you have to go up or down depending on where those are at, so you're not going over them. So you actually have to move your hands up and put your hands up in different spots. So you actually have to wind up going like this with the spider jump.
And that's after doing some of the other.
That's after doing some of the basic stuff, some of the basic ones. But you have to think also with the spider jump, the front of the wall isn't flat. Because if it was flat, it would be easy just to jump in and knock your feet out. It actually has a radius. So the front of it is curved. So if you put your feet in there too soon, your feet don't actually lock in. Your feet will fall out from underneath you. So you have to jump deep enough into those walls to actually lock in your hands and your feet. If you don't jump hard enough, you don't make it. You jump too hard, you can actually overshoot what you're trying to do. It's really crazy. It's a lot of fun to watch. I could never do it. I would want to try it, but I could never do it.
I can't either of us. So you start off with the slanted steps.
Yep, the quad steps.
Yep, which is pretty much four ramps that are tilted at an angle. They're slippery because there's water everywhere.
Yep.
And you have to jump from
1 to 1. Yep.
one. So it's 4, and at the end you get to the left. So what I just found out recently, which I never knew, is that at least in that area, and I don't know if it's illegal per se, but the producers of the show tell you how to get across. They say, hey, jump from this one to this one to this one. But there's some of these obstacles where watching at home, you're just like, they suggest on the quad step going back and forth, but it is not illegal for them to run across. If the guys because there are some that do it, they actually take the left side, because that's where whichever side, like they're closer to the rope, or whichever step is the last step before the rope, that's the side they start on. And they'll actually just take the 2 steps and they'll skip the other side. And they'll just go that way. But those are also guys that have been doing it a while, and they know it's a lot easier and it's faster for them to go straight than back and forth. That it's cool that it's there and that everybody can just run straight across them. So that's why they have the quad step. But it is not illegal for them to go that way. There are illegal things that they can't touch or do during certain obstacles, say when they're doing the rocking steps to the running warped wall, where they have to catch the rope and swing over to the other ledge. If their feet actually touch the water, they're out. Any part of their body touches water, or when they do the rope climb, or that rope mesh, like when you climb up like that and they jump into it and they go underneath, if their shirt on their body touches that water, they're out. It really is. So that's again, we're just talking about stage 1. There's 4 stages.
Oh yeah.
We have the quad steps, you have the mesh, you have the spider jumping.
The spider jump, then you have the salmon ladder.
Yeah, the salmon ladder, pretty much a bar that are on pegs, and pretty much with your body weight, you have to jump up to the next pegs.
Yep. Keep those 90s.
And it doesn't sound too intense, but you're trying to land a bar above you a foot at the same time on 5-6 inch pegs.
Yeah, and just think, you only have 3 minutes to do it.
And if your elbows teeter,
oh yeah, you're done. Because if you lose sight of where your hands are going to be landing, you're done, because they have to land perfectly. There are some guys I've seen catch themselves, but that's only when they miss like one rung, so it's a little bit off for them. Only some guys can do that, because even that's very hard. Because then you're trying to bring one side up and even them out. But the craziest stuff I see is when they skip rungs.
Oh, yeah.
Like when they're jumping one set and going up two. Instead of just one at a time, they're literally taking it and jumping it to the second one and pulling them up. Like, so they actually have to do less work. But again, it comes to that free running mentality where, how can I get there the fastest? What's the fastest line that I can take? Is it? Yep.
150 seconds.
Oh, yeah. 150 seconds. So it's just shy of, it's 2.5 minutes.
So 2.5 minutes to go through a mess of obstacles that you have to do virtually perfect on the first time. Not only because if you don't, you may fall, but not your time, so you can't stop and really rest to get your energy back in between obstacles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But plus, like, the figure the people on stage one, they always, like, oh, yeah, we got the warp, because the warp wall is in almost everything. It's in the first 3 stages of actually running each set of things, because you have to run it in your qualifying 1s, qualifying 2s, you still hit the warp wall, and then in round 1 of the finals you run the warp wall, but the finals warp wall has actually got a shorter run up distance. They take like something like 10 feet away from you for you to run up with. So they make it shorter, but you still have that same height to go. And I think they added 6 inches because they have like the old line with a white line they show, and then the actual top of it's like 6 more inches up. So they actually moved it up 6 inches from when it was originally. And then they have the wall next to that, which is the money wall. And that's even higher. That's like, I think that's at 15 feet is the money wall. And that's a 15-foot vertical wall. Yeah, it's got a little slant down on the bottom, but that's a vertical wall. That goes straight up. You are literally running up a 15-foot wall and grabbing on top of it.
That's where you did skateboarding or pipeline.
Oh yeah, inline and skateboarding, you're like, damn it, now I would know how to do this. But even then, that would be hard because you have to push off it. And when you're rollerblading and skateboarding on that kind of stuff, you're not pushing off down at the bottom. You're trying to ride that momentum up and kick off the top. So it's a lot different kind of mentality when you're running and trying to run and catch that wall. Because you have to be like dead perfect on where you push your foot. You were literally trying to find that pinnacle of that curve before it's at a vertical spot. So you actually have a spot to push your foot.
You have to remember that even if you get up the wall, you're not running all the way up the wall landing on your feet. No, you're running up the wall, grabbing with your hands, and now have to pull yourself up.
Oh yeah.
Yourself up on this slick surface. It's not a bar. You can't swing and get momentum. No, you have to pretty much do a muscle up.
Yep.
Just get up there.
Oh yeah. It weeds out the bad. That's why you get 3 shots at it, and that's it.
That's it. But all that came on stage 2.
Well, stage 2 is mostly upper body. For the most part, almost all of stage 2 is upper body, because it starts usually with the glide down that you have to then get kicked off to the rope swings, and then you work over to the double salmon ladder where you go up one side of the rung, and then you flip over to the other side where you actually jump a 4-foot gap between the set of rungs. And you catch it on the other salmon ladder, go up another 3, and then you go over to the unstable boards. And the unstable boards are literally what they seem like. They're held on by wires. The first one you have the corners held on to, and in the second one, it's just the middle of the boards that's held on to. So the board actually will free spin. So you literally, when you grab the second board, you have to grab the board even. And if you're not even when you grab that board, the board slides either direction, and you just wind up falling down into there. And that's before you get to the there's the log ride. Not the you have to, the log roll. Yep, the log roll. And then from the log roll, you're going over to the chains. I think it's the chains right now, where it's a circular chain. You have to actually traverse this thing to spin around to bring you over to the other platform. And then from there, you go to that platform, but then you have to pick up 3 walls, each getting heavier. You run down a corridor, and they have 80-pound wall that you actually have to pick up and fit underneath it. And you have to put yourself underneath it. So you pick up that, you go underneath it. The next wall is like 100 pounds. You have to pick up that wall, slip your body underneath it. And then the third wall is 120 pounds. You have to pick that up and then slide your body underneath it. And before you hit the buzzer.
Yeah, so that's kind of adding strongman mentality, like the stones.
Yeah, well, that's where it's all mostly upper body. That's what the second round is. First round is more agility, more can you be nimble, can you get from point A to point B as quickly as possible. Where 2, yes, you have a time limit on 2 and everything else, but that's more all upper body.
Yeah.
And then you get to the extreme upper body.
If you can manage to get through 2, and not many people do. I think only somewhere around 53 people
has made it to stage 3.
In the States have made it to stage 3.
Yeah.
That's it. So less than 100 people have actually made it to stage 3 on the actual show.
Yeah. Yep. Second guy to make it to the top, because the first guy actually made it to the top before he did. He was just slower.
Yeah, we'll get to that momentarily. But you have Untitled, who in stage 3, he was actually the very first person in American history
to beat stage 3. Yes.
Even though there was others that beat him in stage 4. But so I watched that run.
Yeah.
The very first obstacle is, pedals on a bike, right?
Yep.
Pick it above your head and go like this.
With your hands. Yeah.
You're going through and you're muscling, so that's pure shoulders virtually just back to get yourself across the water, and then from there you have to come up onto the rope and get them.
Yep. No,
it's easy.
Sure it is.
Sure. The next one is
the Ultimate Cliffhanger. Yeah, Ultimate Cliffhanger is the name of the obstacle.
So this Isaac, for those that don't know, Isaac Colter is a world-renowned rock climber, the best in the world.
It's his playground.
And imagine, and again, being a person that doesn't do rock climbing, but you're very athletic and you want to try something like this. Pretty much you have to hold on, grip strength, to a little ledge that's about 2 inches thick. And you have to crawl yourself over, reach over a gap, grab another short piece, reach over another gap, reach up to a piece, and keep going. Now, that's just on one wall. Then it rotates 90 degrees, and so you have to rotate your body over. You have to crawl over, and same thing over a fairly short distance. And if you can get through all of that with just pretty much your fingertips, there is a 4-foot gap that you have to jump from this to the other 4 feet away.
Yeah, you have to do a blind jump
and land on your fingertips. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people.
Oh, that was only like that's the second obstacle that he has to deal with. That's not even dealing with the upside down climb that he had to do before he had to go up to the other stuff. Because
again, easy. That's the easy portion of it. At this point, your muscles, even if you made it through, your muscles are already there. Now, one of the ones that it didn't look difficult, but I can imagine it was insane for anybody to actually try it, is, you know what a cornhole board looks like, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that without the hole, and they're hanging 4 or 5 of them vertically from a wire.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to hold onto it, swing yourself, grab onto the next one, and swing yourself on these boards that are just vertical.
Yep.
There's no grip. Pretty much you're just putting your hands together and wrapping your legs around it. Now, if you wrap your legs, you're not going to fall, but now you have to get to the next one.
Yep, the floating boards. Those are the hanging floating boards you're talking about, where they've got to like actually like clamp their hands and feet to the board and traverse across that open area. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. That stuff is nuts. That's just pure grip strength and having the right shoes, because you gotta use your feet.
Yeah. So now you go to the next one, the one that you mentioned, the upside down wall.
Yeah, that's so much.
This wall is, imagine a rock climbing wall that you would normally see, you know, with the stones that you can put your hands in. Now imagine it's virtually horizontal. It's right angle, but it's virtually horizontal. No one has ever gotten past that before. Why would that?
It's hard. It definitely takes the best of them, because by then you have to think that's the second to the last one, because there's one more after that, and then you have the spider jump, the spider jump, the bar jump, the salmon ladder jump. But it's insane. But you have to think all that, the rest of that beginning of it was all about taxing out your upper body, because that's all stage 3 is. That's why Isaac Caldero called it a rock climber's delight, because it's all about, are you a good rock climber? Can you control your weight? Can you control your body while hanging? That's all it comes down to. That's why he had so much fun with it. He knew once he got there, he was going to be able to get to Mount Midori on it.
Yeah. There was one, the salmon jump, that is outside of a cliff jumper or a rock climber, I should say.
Yeah.
So I just want to explain this last one. This last one is the last obstacle of stage 3. You're holding onto a bar, and that bar is on 2 horizontal platforms that are, again, about that far apart. It's not that wide, 6, 7, 8 inches. And they have to jump from the bar on those platforms roughly 4 to 6 feet to the next platforms that are only 6 to 8 inches wide.
And they're also dropped down in level too, so it's not even. So you're actually dropping in levels with it. So you're jumping down like 4 inches with each of them that you're doing. So it's not the same vertical thing. So you actually have a little bit extra fall for each thing you jump. And timing it is absolutely insane, because you can time it perfectly, but if your momentum carries you, you're going to swing off of it. So you have to have body control also.
But you have your grip strength, because you're holding on to it. You have back strength, balance.
Yep.
To prevent momentum. But you still need enough momentum to make a forward jump and land on these things.
Yep. And hand and eye coordination to be able to place your hands and use your eyes, peripheral vision, to actually land the bar.
I want to do it. I want to try it so bad.
I want to try it just to see how bad I'm going to wipe out. It's going to be glorious. I'm going to love it.
I think even if the bars were stationary, if there was one bar and then there's another bar 4 feet but slightly lower and it was stationary, I don't think I can do that.
I think that would actually be even harder because at least with the bar that you're jumping with, you have that bar. Yeah, you're going to lose grip with your momentum or something if your grip strength gives out, but it sure beats slapping your hand against a stationary bar.
Well, I mean, gymnasts do it all the time. I mean, that's what the bars are. Right?
Yeah, the gymnasts do it all the time, but I've never seen a gymnast compete on stage 3. They can't get that far.
I wonder, actually, you may know, are they allowed chalk?
Yeah.
On their race?
Yeah.
Is there chalk up there? So like,
I do believe there is when they first start and everything else like that, and there might be at other spots, but a lot of them train without chalk. Because when they do go to the gyms, they're not using chalk. But I do believe some of the stations that need it have it if they want it. Especially like in like stage 3 when you're not timed.
Yeah.
Because stage 3 takes forever. And they don't race you through that. They don't want to get people hurt. Because that's so much upper body. If you had to try to like rush through that, how many people would get hurt? It would be ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it takes a long time, but again, when only 50 to 60 people have ever made it, you don't have a whole and this is over 11 seasons or 12 or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's like American Ninja 14. Yeah, no, you don't. It's kind of cool watching them compete against each other with the sprints. Have you seen any of those when they do like the duels where they're sprinting against each other to see like, or in that sudden death? They just added it just recently, but those races are cool. I like watching the races more than I kind of like watching the individual try to beat the course, because the races are a lot of fun because you're trying to beat the course, but you're also trying to beat the person running against you because you're looking for points, and that's like a team-based thing.
Now, what would be fun, I don't know if they do it, is if they have a competition like that, 1v1, 2v2, whatever it may be, and if you fall, you're allowed to go back to the beginning of that obstacle. So it may take longer, but you're not facing the clock, you're facing another person.
Yeah, but they kind of do that because when they do America versus the World.
That's the one where America's 6 seasons. America's won 3, I believe.
I don't know how many seasons they've done of American Ninja, America versus the World and everything else. I know they've done a couple of them, but they're literally just taking their best of their best. They're putting team versus team, almost like they were doing in Free Run City, Seattle. You had four people on the team, and those 4 people, they would each compete against each other. If you fell, that's where you fell, and if you got further than the guy behind you, you won that. You won the actual that leg of your portion. So they actually had stuff like that set up where it was a point system value, not just if you beat it.
I mean, that would be fun to watch, because I do think it's not cheap, obviously, because there's so many competitors.
Yeah.
If you're that good and you slip once, and you're done till the next competition, you don't have a chance.
Oh yeah.
The opportunity for people. Imagine seeing like Isaac Caldera versus Bennett.
Yep.
Potential one-on-one, and they're going at it, and these are the best in the world.
Oh yeah.
Do it quicker, and if they fall, go back to the next one, because you know they can get through it.
Well, you know they can get through it, but it's more fun if you fall. All right, well, that's my mark. Where's your mark? Are you gonna get that far, or are you gonna crumble under pressure? Because you just have to think, like, that's got to run through your head as you're going through that course. Can I make it? Can I beat the guy in front of me? Can I make the new mark? Can I make the furthest mark where they can try to beat me, but are they going to beat me? Can I be the winner even though I don't get the win? Am I the farthest, the fastest? We're gonna shoot balls at them now too. That's just wrong. Because how else are you supposed to add American Gladiators to American Ninja Warrior? All right, you go climb across this, and I'm gonna shoot tennis balls at you. Ready? Go. That would hurt.
They got like a 5-second head start. Competitors have 5-second head start.
Yeah.
Gators came behind them.
Yeah.
It was kind of that. We'll get into that for a different time. But no, so you have someone like, not an average person, a finalist in a regional that's now made it to the show.
Yep.
In Las Vegas. And they get through the first obstacle or the first two obstacles, and after that, Isaac Caldera gets the start, and he has to catch you and pretty much make you pull. So not only do you have the regular obstacles, but now you have someone that's coming behind you, so you're trying to make a mistake, you're trying to go quick, knowing that there's somebody who can do the course. He's coming back.
Yeah, but then that's where you're starting to fall in the category of who do you pick then? Is it Isaac, or in each of the things are you picking somebody who runs that part of the course the best? Because that's what they did with America versus the World. Like, you didn't run every stage. They had certain people run each of the stage. Which one was their strong point, or which they thought was their strong point, is the one they ran. So you had, like, the rock climbers doing stage 3, more of the free runners doing stage 1.
You could do that. And split it up. It would make it more entertaining for the watchers. Because maybe it's just me, but once you see 1 or 2 people complete the course, that's it. I don't need to see the rest of the episode.
But I like watching it because usually the guys that I want to see are running last.
The ones that they expect to win.
Well, no, there's headliners that for each of the venues and everything else, big names, like the people that have been on American Ninja Warrior already, that they might not even run that late as like the final runner, but their run might have been beforehand and they just wait to show it last. Because a lot of the stuff from the pre-quals wasn't live. Like the pre-qualifications, that's not live, that's usually pre-recorded and then they show it. They go live once they're in Vegas.
That's another thing that we also didn't touch on yet, is that every year it gets more difficult.
Oh, they change, they don't change everything, but every year they change at least some of the obstacles just to keep the guys on their toes, because you're not allowed to practice for American Ninja Warrior. It's supposed to be one of those things where you don't ever know what they're going to give you because they change up the courses so you don't get just that memory of, okay, this is what I got to practice now. This is all I need to worry about. Because they'll throw something else at you that you didn't think about, that you don't have in your local gym, that you haven't been able to like try out or something like that. So that's just usually how it works. It's kind of cool.
And they're popping up everywhere now, the gyms.
Oh yeah, they're popping up everywhere.
And there's actually one in Camden, Connecticut, which is fairly close to us.
Yeah.
That you can go to and actually drive on these things.
Oh yeah, they got foam pits and everything for you to like, when you're bailing off of stuff, that like you're not falling on the ground or anything like that. Or some of their obstacles, you like literally if you put your feet down, you can touch the floor. It's to practice, it's to get that running mentality.
So all this, you were still only through 3 stages. All this practice, all this craziness, you have to get through 3 stages. And
to have a shot to climb a really high rope in 30 seconds. 75 feet in 30 seconds, which doesn't sound like much, but oh god, it's a lot. 'Cause you figure that's 7.5 stories.
And if you imagine, I don't know anywhere that you can practice climbing a 7.5-story rope.
Well, there are some places that I just don't think they would really like us hanging a rope that high up and putting platforms there. Because I know a couple places where you'd definitely probably be in trouble for hanging a 75-foot rope and climbing up it, because if you fell, it wouldn't be nice. It wouldn't be pretty. You'd be
Do not condone anybody trying this at home. Not try any of this at home.
No, they'll always do it under supervision. That's the best way to look at it, because without supervision, you're going to get hurt. Like, you got to do this with people who know what they're doing. But even though the gyms, they have stuff that's closer. You practice on like 30-foot ropes. And
30 seconds to climb 75 feet and under, and at this point you're tired. You don't get a whole lot of rest in between stages.
No. Not stage 4 to stage 3 to stage 4. All the other stages, they actually give you ample rest. They don't usually do 1, then 2 right away. They usually do 1 one night, then 2 the next night. They kind of break that up that way.
But so few people get to stage 4, they don't prepare.
Yeah. They don't usually prepare an extra day unless there's like a whole bunch of them. I've never seen them run a stage 4 day by itself. It's always attached to stage 3.
There's only been 4 stage 4 competitors, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
At least American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, not on the like American Ninja Warrior vs. the World. I've seen a couple of them. They do it every year with it.
So 4 people, 3 of them completed it, 1 didn't. And I think it was 6 seconds between the number 1 and number 2 guy. 4 to 6 seconds, something along those lines.
Oh, yeah.
He completed it in 23, 24.
Yeah. I think, 24 seconds, because he had 6 seconds left. Isaac Caldero, yeah. He flew up that rope. He absolutely positively just crushed it. Yeah. There's no mistaking that. He literally, it's like somebody lit a fire under that man's ass, and he ran up the rope.
There's no words. There really isn't what you can compare this to.
Well, like you're going up 75 feet in less than 30 seconds. Like that, you are absolutely positively, you're hauling, you're pushing to go that fast. And for the most part, he's barely using any feet.
You make it even more difficult. I'm just thinking about ratings now. That 20-foot mark, you put a fire at the end of it. So that fire starts to go up and follow you. It really puts you to make it up that route.
No, they wouldn't do that. Again, that's a safety hazard. You can't do that to people. All right, because even if you wanted to make it go fast, that means you would have to drench the rope in gasoline. So you're going to have this person climbing the rope, and he's going to be like, why do I smell gasoline or kerosene on this rope? There shouldn't be that. Oh, shit, there's a fire underneath me. No, run! That wouldn't be any good.
Entertaining again for the people at home who are looking for ratings. I can see some ratings.
Yeah, but they get plenty of ratings. All right, American Ninja Warrior just brings in people. All right, people literally go there to watch people run. All right, the amount of money they probably make off of all that is ridiculous.
What I do want to see, and they're actually talking about it now, is allowing professional athletes to try.
What, American Ninja Warrior?
Yeah, there's a lot of NFL players that want to go and try out for it.
Oh yeah, they've let pro athletes at it. There's been Olympians who have gone at it, and there's been other athletes who have actually tried the course. There hasn't been many, but I know there's been a few.
I believe definitely during the season it violates contracts.
Well, it violates contracts, but you have to figure most of those American Ninja Warrior is running in season with the football. So it'd be really hard for them to do it. Because
I think football and basketball are probably most likely to be successful. Not saying that the other sports couldn't, but again, with the upper body strength required, football with the legs, and they, most have that upper body strength. Basketball has the nimble and the strength, upper body.
yeah, but you have that length as a basketball player. You have to remember, these things are not made for people who are 7 feet tall.
Or 250 pounds.
Or 250 pounds. But 7 feet tall, he'll be able to go up the warp wall pretty well. But some of those obstacle courses, again, all you have to do is touch that water. And it don't matter what part of your body, if it's your clothing or whatnot, touches that water, you are out. That's why you see a lot of guys who have like baggy shirts take off their shirts, so their shirts don't touch the water.
Who I think would be existing athletes who I think would be very good at this. UFC fighters in like the welterweight division.
Oh yeah, that flyweight division where they're like pretty light, but they are quick and nimble as all hell.
And strong.
Oh yeah. But then you have to think about the balance and everything else, because a lot of those guys, they probably wouldn't have that kind of balance up in the air like that.
Well, we gotta say almost nobody. Again, 4 people through stage 4 in entire history. But most people wouldn't be able to make it. But which ones would be able to get through stage 1? Let's start with that.
That's even difficult, because you have the guys that because that's a mixture of both free running and upper body. That's like that mixed board where it kind of shows you okay, you might get one stage all like this, or you get the second stage all like this, but that for the most part is a little bit of both. So if you don't have a well balanced upper body with dexterity and balance, you're not going to make it. So it's very difficult to imagine. But there are women who are smaller than I am that have beaten stage 1. So what the hell do I know?
Can we agree that most sumo wrestlers aren't completing this event?
I don't see any sumo wrestler wanting to actually do that event. You have to figure average sumo wrestler, probably 300, 350 easily in weight. So you're trying to throw that over how far of a distance? Is that rope going to hold that? Is that bar going to hold that?
I'm sure it can hold it, because they're trying to jump 4 feet.
I feel sorry for that salmon ladder.
But it really though, I mean, at what weight is it too much?
I'm not sure. We would have to.
Is that around the range? Is it one of those things where you're 220 pounds pure muscle, but it's just too much weight and not so much the events of pulling yourself up or even the crawls. It's literally jumping 4 to 6 feet and trying to grab onto something else. That's I think where the failure was. We should try to find that.
Matt Lacing is the heaviest person on American Ninja. Has been the heaviest person on American Ninja Warrior. Matt Lacing. 220 pounds, 6'4".
How far?
Let's see. He is one of the larger regular competitors. So he probably made it to at least stage 1 or stage 2. If he's there for a while.
Yeah. No, it's impressive. And people are amazing in that. And we shouldn't really say, hey, you weigh too much, you can't do this.
No. But most people who are going to be trying to do American Ninja Warrior, they're all in shape because these guys have been trying to do this all year. They stay in, they train all year to go to these things for the most part. There are some people who don't. I understand that because I know in Sasuke you had the fisherman who literally when he wasn't doing Sasuke, he was out fishing. He did not train. His training was fishing. And he would go and run Sasuke without any kind of training. The first time I think he ever trained was when he came over the second time for America versus the world.
You can do it. I mean, anybody can try it, and if you're...
Well, he's good. The fisherman's one of the guys who actually completed it out in Japan. Like, he was one of the first people to do it. Before anybody in the United States ever even thought about doing it. Because they started back in 1997. So... They've got
Dave,
what up?
when are we going? When are we going to go do the 1v1 course?
Well, when we know that they're actually going to be American Ninja Warrior, because probably the next one, I don't know if they're doing, because I know if they're doing one this summer, which I don't think they are. I think they're leaving one more year off before they start it up again. I'd have to check. But it wouldn't be able to be this year, but within the next 2-3 years, I'd say we do it.
As long as there's an ambulance on site.
Oh, come on, there are older men than us, and I am older than you are. You're trying to get me to do this. Show your face. Alright, I got you like by 10 years. Shut up. Talking about needing an ambulance and you're 30 years younger. Oh, give me a break. You're gonna obstacle too? You're gonna pull bicep muscle? I'm gonna laugh. I'm straight up just gonna laugh.
My leg is when I give up, and he's when I give up, the very first one. But no, I definitely want to try this. It's fun. It would be an experience to say the least, and I would like to see in real time. I mean, I can visualize the athleticism that everybody has, men and women, who have done this courses, who haven't even gotten to Vegas.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just incredible the strength. I think that people train all year.
Oh yeah, they train year in, year out, like trying to get better, trying to be the next American Ninja Warrior. Because they actually, like, even when they fail, they the only way they can claim to be the next American Ninja Warrior is to complete Mount Mondoriyama.
Hopefully we see a few more of those 75-foot climbs. We see more of that.
Yeah, but there hasn't been that many. Like, you figure since 1997, even in Japan, there have been only 3 different winners. All right, so you're talking over 20 years.
7 total, just making it through 6 that have actually completed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Between the 2 countries.
Yeah.
I think that says it all.
With millions of people trying, thousands of people trying.
But with that said, if you haven't had an opportunity, if you haven't seen American Warriors, or watched, the stage 3, stage 4, highly recommend you go on YouTube. Take a look at it. It is fun to watch. It's incredibly impressive. And again, at some point, maybe in the future, there will be a video of Dave and Steve trying one of these events.
Oh, it would be fun to watch. Or even if we got to a gym and we tried it out at a gym.
And that would be a good fundraiser for charity right there. Donate. Start seeing who would fall first.
Who would fall first? I'm going to trip you if we're going to do that.
But with that said, I think we're about out of time, but we do have an exciting event coming up next.
So hopefully you guys enjoy the show, come check us out. Subscribe. Oh yeah, hit that like button. We definitely like that. And if you have any questions, hit us up at our emails. I'm davebob0420@gmail.com. And Steve doesn't have any kind of social media outlet. So if you guys need anything or have any questions, just get in touch with me and I will take care of you from there.
Okay, please leave comments on what you want us to do, topics every time. We're open to be doing some research, looking into it, watching it. We've hit a lot of the big topics right now, but we really want to delve down and see those unknown sports that not everybody sees on a daily basis.
That not everybody covers.
No. Yeah, exactly. So thank you all for watching. Again, I'm Steve.
I'm DB.
Until next time.
Till next time, folks. Peace.